The play, he's making a hustle play, running down a fast break, and then he gets hurt. You know, the play that you'd want every one of your players to make, but without Nerlens Noel, Willie Cauley needs to step up. You're talking about a short bench, but where it really hurts him is on the defensive end. You're talking about a guy that blocks out the sun.
And the sun did come up after the loss of Nerlens Noel and the loss to Florida. About how long will the sun shine for the Wildcats? We'll discuss that today on the show. Welcome to Gupper and the Gang, Red and Blue Review, coming to you from Bungalow Joe's, where how many Kentucky fans are in the house?
Yeah! Thank you.
How many Louisville fans at Bungalow? All precincts reporting. We can report that it is a Louisville pub today. Welcome to the show, guys. Our word of the week this week for me is historic, because for the first time in red and blue history, we have a player from the University of Louisville who has swept the awards for busted, big man on campus, and nuts. We'll get to that in just a bit. What is your word of the week this week, Darrell Burton?
Unfortunately, my word of the week is bubble.
Okay.
As an NCAA bubble, because I got a feeling they're there firmly. What's going to happen down the stretch? The committee in Indy is saying they may judge UK on what happens going forward. Are you kidding me? Can't do that. So that's my word.
Howie, what's your word of the week?
It's got to be Rusticulous. I mean, that is the only
really
word.
has swept it.
He really has. He swept everything. He swept word of the week, big man on campus. He is the key to Louisville's season, good or bad.
Good or bad. Well, Red and Blue Review coming to you this week from Bungalow Joe's, just off the Gene Snyder and Beulah Church Road. You've seen some of the great food they've got here, and a great offer for you as well. You can see our camera shot. They got this huge 80-inch screen when our television lights aren't up. It is spectacular, and so is the food. And how about this offer? If you go to bungalow-joes.com, join their VIP group, Joe is going to send you a $10 gift certificate for great food like this, but you have to sign up as a VIP at bungalow-joes.com. Okay, our topics this week on our lightning round is Nerlens needs an angel, Russ needs a holster, physical play, and missing the NCAA. All that coming up right now in the lightning round. The Lightning Round on the Red and Blue Review is brought to you by the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety, reminding you that one text or call could wreck it all. Well, Kentucky's basketball hopes for another national championship, maybe even a berth in the tournament, were wrecked when Nerlens Noel went down. He is the big man on campus.
I mean, we all brothers. Win, lose, or draw, we always got each other's back. We've seen him go down. It's just helped him off.
We just all as a team got together and prayed for him for a minute and then sent him to the hospital. Like, I'm physically sick right now for him, and if it were a walk-on, I'd be sick for that young man too.
Yeah, it's terrible to see something like that happen, and especially on that play, hustling back to take care of a mistake. And it was eerie. I went back and looked at the pre-Florida press conference. Calipari's imploring his team, play harder, fight harder. If somebody steals the ball, run him down and block the shot. And I'm like, oh, ouch, something like that. Fortunately, he did have an insurance policy, so had it been complete catastrophic career ending, he was going to be okay. Excuse me. And these athletes today are so fortunate with the advances. He could have this surgery and be even better than he was before and still, get on to the NBA and make his millions. So that won't hurt in the long run. UK season, that's a different story.
Well, let's hit a couple things first of all. Even after he is rehabilitated, there's no chance he'll come back to Kentucky. He's got to go pro, right?
He can. Calipari put out something the day after that said if he's not comfortable with where he is in the process, he's not comfortable with who he's talked to, then you can go ahead and come back. The door is wide open. Yeah. So we'll just have to see how he does on his rehab.
Now, what the question now begs for Kentucky is not only do you have to replace him, Darrell and Howie, but you have to replace him with some guys that so far this season really Darrell have refused to step up. I mean, there's a couple different things at work here. It's not like you've got guys playing well and somebody's got to play a little better. They've got stuff they're not getting out of right now, guys like Alex Porthos.
Alex Porthos, Archie Goodwin. It's time to grow up, boys. You boys are going to grow up in a hurry. The biggest stat that scares me to death going forward is that we know Nerlens was leader in the entire nation, 106 block shots. How many of those 106 were erasing mistakes by your teammates who can't stay in front of anybody? And now if they can't stay in front of anybody, they're going to get to the rack. Willie Cauley-Stein can't block like that, and if he tries, he's going to get in foul trouble. Then you're in big, big trouble.
How are we looking forward to the tournament now? Do we see this as a division point in the season for Kentucky, where the committee is going to look at pre-Nolan and post-Nerlens Noel to see what Kentucky is?
I think they have to. I think they have to look at these last 6-7 games and the tournament and say, okay, how good is this team really without this player? The only example we could think of was Kenyon Martin.
Yeah.
But that happened
Cincinnati.
in the tournament, and they didn't have any games to evaluate after that. And even then, they dropped him from a 1 to a 2 seed. So they definitely evaluate based on injuries.
Well, the big man on campus for the University of Louisville has to be Russ Dickulus, Russ Smith. After that terrible performance against Notre Dame, he led up St. John's for 24 points in the Cardinal win.
Smith has taken over the offense. Wow. Oh, come on, Russ. Now that was Russ Dickulus.
Sometimes Russ Smith goes to a whole nother level. He's at that level right now.
Yes, he is. He has scored the last 12 Louisville points.
And Russ Smith was phenomenal. I mean, he definitely got his groove back. 24 points. He got to the line over and over and over again. I think he was 12 for 14 from the line. He just forced St. John's to foul him, or he was going to go straight to the basket. I think that's when he's at his best. When he's trying to jump shoot and do something, he's just not as good at that. Get to the basket, force him to foul you.
Was there a point in that game, Howie, where he was still living off of the disappointment of Notre Dame? 3 points in the first half and then 21 in the second?
Yeah, I think it took him that first half to shake it off. I call it a hangover or whatever. It definitely stuck with him during that first half.
Well, who got busted for the University of Kentucky this week? Obviously, Nerlens is the obvious, but to expand the point is Florida really did show how Kentucky is not ready for physical basketball.
What we don't have right now, they can't come together when this year, we've been up 16, we've been up 18, we've been up 14. All of a sudden, you turn around, we're up 2. We need to go back and have more physical practices and just, if the games are going to be played like this, we got to be able to withstand it. But we're a young team. I mean, our young guys look like deer in the headlights tonight. And so, it's not what we wanted, but it's a lesson. We move on.
And the bad thing you have to point out is deer in the headlights was long before the injury.
Yeah,
they were getting blown out, run out of that building, which really the only thing that they could really take a bad hit and lose that night was to get blown out, and they looked terrible because we knew Florida was better, but wow, that was bad. Now you've got to go pick up the pieces. Like we said earlier, you got to grow up in a hurry. Every one of them have to get beyond themselves and start playing team ball, or the season is going to spiral very quickly. And the bad thing, you play this, you've got this catastrophic injury. Now you got to go to Tennessee.
Yep.
You don't have much time to fix this, to revamp however you're going to play. Go to Tennessee, which was already a dangerous game before Nerlens got hurt.
It was amazing to me to watch how these teams, Florida and Kentucky, have changed positions.
Yeah.
One of the criticisms I've had about Billy's team since they won the championships is how soft they play.
Right.
And Kentucky's team last year really get after you. On that court in Gainesville the other night, the roles were totally reversed. It was Florida who's playing physical basketball and Kentucky who was soft.
I have never seen a game where so many instances the defender just reached out and took the ball, stripped it right out of your hand with 2 hands.
Well, there's
on
middle
it.
school basketball, you see that.
Yeah, but you see 87 jump balls too. So.
Red and Blue Review coming to you from Bungalow Joe's. Here's our buddy Joe Bishop. Joe?
When the Cards and Cats are on the court, the cold beer is on ice. $10 buckets during UK and U of L games, $2.50 Blue Moons during the Kentucky games, and $2.50 Red Stripes during the Louisville games. Back to you, Gary.
Thank you, Joe. Well, who got busted for the University of Louisville is Russ Smith as he continues his march toward the sweep here of our lightning round. Rick Pitino says that Russ has got to shoot less. In fact, 1 out of every 4 shots he's taken probably ought to go to somebody else.
I think anytime you shoot a lot, you got to be objective enough and say, am I shooting a high percentage? If I'm not, then I've got to get my teammates the ball more. You got to be smart enough to know that. And he obviously, if you look at his statistics, he should pass more. So I think he's smart enough to know that, though. I don't think coming from his teammates would be a good thing. It has to come from me.
Yeah, I think it does have to come from the coach, but it does need to come from the teammates just a little. Somebody on that team needs to be like, hey, when we're in the post, you need to pass it to us. And I don't think they've got big men right now who are demanding the ball. I think Shane could. I'm not sure Gorgie could. I don't know if that's his personality or not. But I do agree with Rick Pitino that about 1 out of every 4, which would still give Russ 15 shots a game. Yeah. I mean, we're not saying, he's shooting 20 a game. Just give 5 to other people.
We raised this as an issue several months ago when the season first started. It looked like Russ was going to take too many shots, and in fact, that's kind of how it's turned out.
Yeah, he's a shotgun. I mean, he's a gunner. That's just what he does. And so I think it's good that the coaches realize that, because there was a while where Louisville fans were asking me, why has Rick Pitino not stepped in and said something to Russ Smith? Well, clearly he has now.
Well, what's nuts for the University of Kentucky? Is it possible, really, that the defending national champs could miss the tournament now?
Every guy on our team had to be aggressive. Our guard play had to be spotless, and it wasn't, and we had to make some shots, and we didn't. So just about anything we needed to do, we didn't, to be able to give us a chance to win the game. You know, that's where we're trying to get this group, that every guy's got to be aggressive, you got to be tough, you got to play through bumps, you got to understand if the game is going to be a rough game, you got to play it. You can't just give up on the game. You just know if they're jerking balls out of your hand, jerk balls out of their hand. If they're being physical in the post, you be physical in the post. And so it's something we're just learning.
Yeah, and we need to take a look ahead going forward, especially if the committee is going to look this hard at it. The road game to Tennessee and to Arkansas was already scary. The problem they're facing, okay, you beat Vandy at home, you beat Mississippi State at home, so what? That doesn't prove anything to the committee, doesn't prove anything to anybody. Somehow this team has a couple of games to figure it out and possibly steal that game day against Missouri in Rupp Arena. They can do that. I think they're safe as long as you don't have a complete implosion. Tennessee is so fascinating this week because everybody's going to be sitting there saying, how are they going to play? Are they going to speed up the tempo? Are they going to slow it down? What happens if there's foul trouble? How are they going to approach this game? And it may not be good, but it's fascinating to see how UK and how Coach Pitino's going to, Coach Calipari is going to approach this game now.
Hey, let's look at that graphic again if we can. There are some spots in that schedule that's really favorable to Kentucky. Mississippi State is awful. Georgia is beatable with almost anybody on the court. Vanderbilt is terrible. So to your point, wins don't help you, but any losses devastate you.
That's the problem. That if they can somehow beat Tennessee Saturday, and then you take care of Vandy, which is terrible, hey, you're on a 2-game win streak without Nerlens. The committee will, hey, maybe they are putting it together. And you play Missouri after that. ESPN is there for game day, so they're spending the entire day talking about, wow, they've really fallen apart since Nerlens. Or look at these guys, they've managed to put it together. That's a huge play, good or bad. That's going to be a huge factor on whether UK gets in.
What's nuts for the University of Louisville is the guy who isn't nuts, after all. You would think after that performance against Notre Dame that Russ Smith would have driven himself and the rest of us crazy, but he got over it pretty fast thanks to his coach.
It was pretty tough. I can't really speak for everyone, but for myself, it took me a little while.
So what did you have to tell yourself during that time period?
Man, I was really involved with Coach, and I was texting Coach a lot. I was speaking with him a lot, and he really helped me get over it.
It's interesting to hear that Coach Pitino helped him get over it. I mean, that he was, texting back and forth with him and talking to him a lot, because that night, none of these guys have Twitter accounts, but they're all on Instagram. And Russ Smith's Instagram is on a different, it is from another planet. But on that night, he sent this real long apology to all Louisville fans and called himself stupid and all this. You could tell that he felt awful. So it was good to see him after this next game kind of say, I got over it, we've moved on, let's keep the season.
When we come back on the Red and Blue Review, the Kentucky basketball team doesn't need to lose any games on the court. They need to lose in themselves. We'll explain that, sort of, when we come back. As we head to the break, Daryl's going to tell us about the Cat's Paws.
I do appreciate it very much. If you've been following the show for the last few weeks, I have been pushing our Cat's Paws Express edition very hard, and this was a prime example. In between the issues, the issue is about signing day. Monday, we had a nice preview of the Florida game, the O-Dome Showdown. And the morning after, everything we had available before we knew how bad the injury was, we had it up on another Express edition. Is the season in jeopardy type of question mark? Here's what we know. Here's the update. Stay tuned to Cat's Paws the rest of the day. That's what that Express is for. News that happens between the issues. If you're a subscriber, it's free. You need to take advantage of it.
Hi, Tim French here. I'm really excited on our brand new Elizabethtown location under construction right here on the corner of Dixie Highway and the entranceway to Freeman Lake Park. Talk about low overhead. How about no overhead? We can take all the savings and pass them on to you. Take advantage of these construction sale prices. Stop by and see us. You know about 351 Auto, but now we have 765 Auto and 765auto.com. If you're wondering who this guy is, this is my brand new general manager, Brian Keneal. Say hi, Brian.
Hello, folks.
We got to go.
Yeah, I just picked her up. We should be there in 20 minutes. Who is it? Oh, it's him. Where is he?
I know. Yeah, I know.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
How do you say it?
Bear nose.
Bear nose?
Beer nose.
Bear-nose? No matter how you say it, Bear-Nose has been serving up Louisville-style pizza since 1977 from 13 area locations.
Bear nose. Bear nose.
It's been over 90 years since my grandfather entered the Chevrolet business. Steve and I are proud of our son Ryan and our son-in-law Andrew, who now make the 4th generation. The tradition continues with our dedication to excellence and customer satisfaction. Thank you, Kentuckiana, for making us your #1 Chevrolet dealer. We would like to introduce you to the all-new Bachman Chevrolet.
How do you say it?
Bear nose.
Bear-Nose?
Beer nose.
Bear-Nose? No matter how you say it, Bear-Nose has been serving up Louisville-style pizza since 1977 from 13 area locations.
Bear nose. Bear nose.
Hi, Tim French here. I'm really excited on our brand new Elizabethtown location under construction right here on the corner of Dixie Highway and the entranceway to Freeman Lake Park. Talk about low overhead. How about no overhead? We can take all the savings and pass them on to you. Take advantage of these construction sale prices. Stop by and see us. You know about 351 Auto, but now we have 765 Auto and 765auto.com. If you're wondering who this guy is, this is my brand new general manager, Brian Keneal. Say hi, Brian.
Hello, folks.
We got to go.
Welcome back to Bungalow Joe's, where we have the coldest beer in town. And back to you, Gary.
Thank you, Joe. Great food and a great offer. Remember, go to bungalow-joes.com. Joe is going to send you a $10 gift certificate good for this great food here at Bungalow Joe's, bungalow-joes.com. All right, our topics, a bad night in South Bend and lose yourself in team in our Game Time storylines. Back into the college basketball season, and Kentucky is pretty much where they started. They're trying to find some way to turn the 5 guys in the court or on the court into one cohesive team.
Here's what you have to do. You have to lose yourself in the team. We're not there. We're trying to establish, here's who I am as a player. Don't worry about that right now. We got 8 games left. Lose yourself in the team. It's hard, though. It's natural what they're all doing. And that is, again, young, immature guys not understanding that it's not, you work on yourself to get better for us. That's why you're doing it, for us. If we all lose ourselves in each other, it elevates each one of us and it elevates our team. But it's been, that's the challenge that we've gone through.
I'm not at all concerned about Kyle Wilcher, Julius Mays. They're older. You know what you're going to get. Is Alex Poythress going to rise up and start playing harder than he ever has, or is he just going to stay right where he's been and kind of come and go as he pleases? Ryan Harrow seems to be really fragile. He really does. Archie Goodwin, he has the talent to rise up and kind of carry this team the rest of the way, or does he get real bullheaded and says, I'm going to do it all myself, which is going to lead to even more problems than they've had to date. So we just don't know what's going to happen. Like I said, I can't wait for Tennessee to see how they approach it, see how these guys, I mean, if I'm a good teammate, the best way I can honor Nerlens Noel is to play as hard as Nerlens Noel played. And there's everybody on that team that can prove that.
And they haven't really lost a lot with Nerlens offensively.
Offensively, no.
So that won't be a big thing for them to try to make up. It's that defensive presence that I don't see anybody filling that gap, even Willie Cauley.
I don't either, and that's why, if I'm the coach and I'm not offensively, pedal the metal. I'm going as fast as I can, let these guys score in transition because they're not that great of jump shooters except for a couple of guys. Don't let Archie have to drive 1 against 10. Let him get out 1 against 1. He'll draw that foul. Go fast as you can. Get that tempo up because you can't guard anybody on the other end. Even before you try to block it, they're getting beat by everybody.
Louisville's home win over St. John's helped all of us move past the road loss to Notre Dame, but it still begs the question, what happened that allowed a 5 overtime loss to vex these Cardinals?
You know, I think Russ had a bad night. I think Wayne had a bad night. Peyton had a bad night with a lot of mental errors that were not only contagious, that led to other mental errors, but, you know, you're up 3, you don't try to draw an offensive foul. You know, you have a 3-on-1 break, you pass the ball, you bring it out. You know, those are things that down the stretch you'll learn from.
I think if you asked a lot of fans, Rick had a bad night. He didn't mention that part, but
no, he didn't.
I think, you know, the big question remains, like, where were the timeouts there at the end? I know Rick Pitino's not a fan of that, but it is a concern. Late in games, Louisville has struggled.
They have.
They've lost 3 of their 5 losses have been late, as we were talking about, and you know, I think that's a concern going forward.
You wouldn't expect that out of a veteran ball club. As much experience they have on the court, you would think they'd have those end-of-the-game situations down pat.
I would have thought that Peyton Siva would be so adept at this point that he'd just take over. And in 2 or 3 of those losses, he's either been on the bench or he hadn't taken over. So I think it's on Peyton's shoulders. I'd much rather it be on Peyton's shoulders than Russ Smith's.
Red and Blue coming to you today from Bungalow Joe's, and we've got to alert you to this great offer that you've got. Go to their website, bungalow-joes.com. You will get a $10 gift certificate for great food like you see on our tray here. You can come to this back room back here where they've got this, 80-inch, it's a gigantic television screen, great spot to watch ball games from, but you have to go to their website and sign up as a VIP, bungalow-joes.com. Howie, tell us about what's going on in your world with your magazine.
Absolutely. Check out Louisville Sports Report. You can get it delivered to your house, 636-4330, or CardinalSports.com is your place after every game. We go inside the locker room. We have this From the Locker Room feature with all kinds of video after these games at CardinalSports.com.
How do you say it?
Bear nose.
Bear nose?
Beer nose.
Bear nose? No matter how you say it, Bear Nose has been serving up Louisville-style pizza since 1977 from 13 area locations.
Bear nose. Bear nose.
Did you know that 2/3 of all truck-related crashes are actually caused by cars? Large trucks carry heavy loads and need more room to stop than cars. Merging without leaving enough space between you and a truck could cost you a ticket, or something much worse, your life. Law enforcement will be out on the road writing tickets to make sure both truck and car drivers stay safe. Before merging, be sure you can see both of the truck's headlights in your rear-view mirror to ensure proper braking room. This message brought to you by the KSP Commercial Vehicle Enforcement Division.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
Yeah, I just picked her up. We should be there in 20 minutes. Who is it? Oh, it's him. Where is he?
I know. Yeah, I know.
Yeah! That just happened! Yes, it did. No! Yes, 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 yes! We did it! Yes, we did! Oh, we did it! See you, bud.
Later.
Honey, who was that?
Who, that guy? I don't know.
Get caught up in the excitement. Buffalo Wild Wings. More wings, more beer, more sports.
Hey, who's this?
It's been over 90 years since my grandfather entered the Chevrolet business. Steve and I are proud of our son Ryan and our son-in-law Andrew, who now make the 4th generation. The tradition continues with our dedication to excellence and customer satisfaction. Thank you, Kentuckiana, for making us your #1 Chevrolet dealer. We would like to introduce you to the all-new Bachman Chevrolet.
How do you say it?
Bearnose.
Bearnose?
Bearnose.
Bearnose? No matter how you say it, Bearnose has been serving up Louisville-style pizza since 1977 from 13 area locations.
Bearnose. Bearnose.
Welcome back to Bungalow Joe. Say hello, everybody. You're on television. Nice little crowd rolling in. Joe, this screen, how big is this thing?
It's 5 by 7 foot.
Holy cow. Well, it's a great place to come, not only have food, but to watch ball game, whatever you want to do with your friends. And Joe, before we get any further, I got to talk about the quality of food here. It's
really
amazing.
Thank you for noticing, yeah.
Oh, it is way beyond what you'd expect anywhere else, and we got to cheat a little bit. We've been pulling off these stinky chips for the whole show. One of the things we're going to do here coming up in just about 3 weeks, we're going to have our Bungalow Joe's bracket show from right here. And Joe, everybody who goes on your website, bungalow-joes.com, they can sign up to be a VIP.
Absolutely.
VIPs get not only the opportunity to compete in the bracket contest, but then they also get the $10 gift card.
Absolutely. After they sign up, they'll get one mailed to their house. They can bring that in and use it for anything they'd like.
Joe, tell me how you came across the idea to do this kind of restaurant with this type of food. What motivated you to do that?
Well, just kind of got tired of the same old going in and grabbing wings and a beer.
Yeah.
And we take a lot of pride in everything we do. We do a lot of things from scratch. That cod is hand cut, battered Fall City beer, breaded and fried. Very good stuff.
Got some new stuff that's coming out. You're going to be debuting a new hot dog here pretty soon. We're going to debut that, I think. I hope to be able to debut it for our bracket show we're going to be doing here in a few
It's a
weeks.
monster dog.
Yeah,
it's a quarter-pound all-beef dog.
Now, again, we want you to do a couple things. Go to Joe's website right now. It's bungalow-joes.com. You can sign up to be a VIP. That VIP will get you that $10 gift certificate that you can bring by here. Bungalow Joe's on Beulah Church, right off the Gene Snyder. You can get great food like this, and then on the day of the bracket draw, the day after that Monday, come by here, Bungalow Joe's. We're going to show you how to fill out your bracket card. We're going to call on the experts and eat some great food. See you next time back here on the Red and Blue.